The history of the Vikings, also known as Norsemen, spans several centuries and encompasses a complex and fascinating period of European history. The Viking Age is generally considered to have occurred from the late 8th century to the early 11th century. Here's an overview of the history of the Vikings. Origins and expansion. 8th century. The term Viking is believed to derive from the Old Norse word Vikinger, referring to seafarers and raiders. Viking expansion began in the late 8th century, with Norse traders, explorers, and warriors venturing out from Scandinavia, modern-day Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. Viking longships, with their shallow draft and versatility, allowed for navigation through rivers and open seas, facilitating exploration and raids. Raids and invasions, 9th, 10th centuries. Vikings conducted raids along the coasts of Europe, targeting monasteries, towns, and trading centers. Notable raids include the sacking of Lindisfarne in 793 and the raid on Paris in AD 45. Vikings explored and settled in areas such as England, Ireland, Scotland, Iceland, Greenland, and the Faroe Islands. Settlement and trade, 9th, 11th centuries. Vikings established permanent settlements, including the Danelaw in England and the Viking-founded city of Dublin in Ireland. Norse traders played a crucial role in long-distance trade, connecting Scandinavia with the Byzantine Empire and the Islamic world. Expansion to the west, 9th, 10th centuries. Viking explorer Leif Erikson is believed to have reached North America around the year 1000, making the Vikings among the first Europeans to set foot in the New World. Cultural achievements and religion. Vikings had a rich cultural and artistic heritage, producing intricate metalwork, wood carvings, and sagas, epic narratives. Norse mythology and gods, such as Odin, Thor, and Freya, were central to Viking religious beliefs. Decline and Christianization, late 10th century onward. As Vikings converted to Christianity, their raiding activities diminished, and Scandinavian societies transitioned from pagan traditions to Christian ones. The unification of Norway under King Olaf Tryggvason in the late 10th century played a role in the Christianization process. End of the Viking Age, 11th century. The Viking Age is often considered to end with the Norman conquest of England in 1066, when William the Conqueror defeated King Harold II at the Battle of Hastings. The decline of Viking raids is also attributed to changing political and economic conditions in Europe. Legacy and historical memory. Despite their reputation as raiders, Vikings were also traders, explorers, and settlers, contributing to the cultural diversity of the regions they encountered. The Viking legacy endures in modern Scandinavian culture, language, and folklore, and the historical memory of the Vikings continues to capture popular imagination. Did the Vikings convert to Islam? There is no historical evidence to suggest that the Vikings, who were primarily from Scandinavia, modern-day Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, converted to Islam. However, it's important to note that Vikings were explorers, traders, and settlers who came into contact with various cultures and religions during their expeditions. Some interactions occurred with Islamic civilizations, particularly in areas such as the Mediterranean and the Middle East, where Vikings engaged in trade and exploration. In historical accounts, there are instances of Vikings encountering Islamic cultures, but these interactions did not necessarily lead to religious conversions. Vikings were pragmatic traders and often adapted to the cultural practices of the regions they visited without necessarily adopting the local religions. It's worth mentioning that conversion to Christianity became more widespread among the Vikings during the latter part of the Viking Age. As European societies transitioned to Christianity, so did many Viking communities. Notable events, such as the conversion of the Norwegian king Olaf Tryggvason in the late 10th century, played a role in the Christianization of Scandinavia. In summary, While Vikings had contact with Islamic civilizations during their travels, there is no substantial evidence to support the idea that Vikings, as a group, converted to Islam. The majority adhered to their traditional Norse pagan beliefs, and later, as Christianity gained influence, many Vikings embraced Christianity. The history of the Vikings is a complex narrative of exploration, conquest, cultural exchange, and societal evolution. While their raids are well known, the Vikings' contributions to trade, exploration, and settlement have left a lasting impact on the history of Europe and beyond.